all on to make your arrangements. And
Exactly.
what kind of shape are you going to leave them in
Exactly.
if you don't have anything? And so I guess to me, I mean, just to make people feel like they're kind of in control of their own living and their transition, that you really can. Yeah, I mean, you're not talking at that age about getting $500,000 worth of life insurance. You're talking about maybe covering 5,000.
Right, right.
Okay, just so your kids will be okay and not
Right.
scrambling around and passing the hat.
And it's
You
so
know, yeah.
unfortunate that you
Yeah.
that you would wait that late. That's why it's very important that we need to educate our kids about getting it young. And I see a lot of times the grandparents would get it for their niece and for their grandsons and for their granddaughters and for their kids. But yeah, we just really need the older ones really need to educate, because back in 1960, 72% of households had life insurance compared to 44% of households that have it now.
Wow, what happened?
Well, we're not educating people. Yeah, I guess the
And is this for
education
the
is just
general
being lost.
population or for African Americans?
Well, this just deals with U.S. households.
Okay.
But the reason why I actually am very passionate about selling life insurance, because back in 2008, when I was working for State Farm, it was then that I found out that 85% of black people did not have life insurance.
Life insurance.
Yeah. And it was a recent article that I read in Forbes that showed that the black median wealth in 2053 is going to be 0%. Which is very important to know, because everything may look good on the on the outskirts, as far as we're building businesses. I mean, we're opening businesses. We have more of us being represented in the media and on the news. But the truth is, are we investing? Are we doing the proper things that we need to do to not only create wealth for us, but to create wealth for our generation also? And the housing market really hurt us a lot. I think it was about half of our community.
Like 2009, I guess.
Yeah, it was about half of our community that lost their houses. So now, it's great to see, that a lot of us are buying property now, because that's one of the easiest ways to build wealth, is to own property. But yeah, so we're buying up property. We're trying to get back into the game. But yeah, we really need to wake up. And, I know a lot of times people say that they're in survival mode. But sometimes you got to make sacrifices, because, we have these kids, and we want the best for our kids. And we work hard every day. And we work so hard to pay bills. It costs a lot of money to live in this country. To where sometimes we can't save money that we need to, and we can't, give the things to our kids that they really deserve to have. But they deserve to have the world, and life insurance can really just be one of those things that we just really need to make the sacrifice for.
Are you finding, and I mean, I think of you as and Mike is much closer to the millennial generation, obviously, than I am, and that people are starting to understand the need to plan ahead, and to not just think about next week or payday. I'm gonna bring Mike into
I
this
agree.
situation.
I see it a little bit.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. I know for a fact I don't think about it every single day. I try to think about it as much as I can, because obviously life is real now. Outside of out of college and everything, things become real. So you have to think about these things. These things are important, but you can't speak on. Sometimes you can't reach the people. We're so focused on the quick things, the temporary things. Everything's on, the Instagram and everything, social
Right.
media, stuff that's entertainment basically.
Yeah.
That's where we are. That's where our heads are.
And so, how do you talk to people?
Yeah.
And get them to.
Oh yeah.
And get them to sort of start changing their thinking to more long term.
Right. It's difficult, because, like as Mike said, that we get fixated in the wrong things with social media. Just taking a lot of our time, and just trying to impress the wrong people. But at the same time, as we are getting older, we're starting to have these experiences. These were relatives, people that are close to us, are passing. So sometimes, excuse me. My allergies.
Do you want some water?
No, I'm fine. No, it's just my
right.
allergies. Please bear with me, people. Yeah, so sometimes in order for us to see the importance of something, we have to go through these personal experiences. So that's why I am seeing that the younger folks, they are starting to understand the importance of having it a little bit more. Because as I was just speaking to a guy, I think he was about 28. He's a banker. And he said, I really do need to get life insurance for it. Well, he already had it for himself, but he understood the importance of having to get it for his mother, who currently doesn't have it and currently didn't see the importance of having it.
Wow.
And she's 51 years old. But he said, he's been through an experience where his uncle passed away, and he said, he
That made
saw,
him think.
yeah, because he saw how his mother and how the family just came together, and they would didn't have the money, and they were just scrambling on how to get the money, and he saw.
Oh, please! I can't tell you how many times I have contributed to the pass the hat because so and so is gone now, and we need to put him in the ground. I mean, it really is. I mean, and that's a familiar story in our family. I remember my mom and them doing it.
Right.
But somebody's got to step forward and break that cycle.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why what I think about and I thought about when I met you is that you're working in a way that is trying to help us think differently. I mean, fundamentally think differently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's important. And like I said, not just having enough courage to bury yourself, but having enough courage to where you can leave something for your loved ones, and not just having term. Nothing is wrong with term, but also looking to have something permanent, so where you can rest assured that my loved ones are going to be taken care of when something happens to me. Plus, also, so you can get the living benefits that come along with it, as we spoke of. That you don't get with term insurance. So life insurance is vital.
You have to think about it as a better kind of savings account.
Oh, yeah.
A better kind of savings account.
Yes.
Do we have to take a break? One in 30 seconds?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, we got 3 minutes. I was interested in what made you interested in all of this.
Okay, yeah. And like I said, it was back when I was working for State Farm in 2008. Thank you, Craig Aline, for the opportunity. But yeah, it was back then that I read an article that 85% of Black people did not have life insurance. And being an insurance agent, it makes me understand the importance of having coverage for everything in life, because it identifies you. If you're ever in a situation to have insurance and to transfer that financial impact onto something other than yourself is important. So it was then that I said, oh my gosh, I can't believe that so much of us don't have it. This is why we're not being able to build up our communities. This is why we can't get further ahead in life, because something as simple as life insurance we don't have.
It's just a foreign concept.
And why don't we
and
have
that's
it?
how people are passing along wealth. I mean, I hate to say that you pass it along when you die because it sounds so depressing, but but like I say, I mean, I kind of took heart when I read this Bible verse that a wise person thinks about wealth, passing along wealth to their children's children.
Mm-hmm.
And what that speaks of is a long time.
Right.
You have to have a long view.
Right.
You think of your grandparents and your great-grandparents kind of going forward, but think of your generations that are going to come behind you. I mean, if we don't poison the earth completely, but it's a wider way to think.
Yeah.
And I think it's also a way to love.
Oh yeah.
It's a way to love your people and to want to make sure that they're going to be okay, even when you're not there to make that mac and cheese for them. You know what I'm saying? Because we think about that. It's like, okay, so my kids are coming over. I'm going to cook and I'm going to take care of them.
Right.
But this is another way to take care of your folk. And I'm glad that you talked about having insurance for everything, because I knew someone really close to me who was underinsured in terms of their auto insurance and got into an accident. And it turned out that there were limits to the amount that the insurance company would pay, and they got personally sued for the damages caused by that accident, and were in debt because of a court order that they actually were at fault in the accident and owed that other family money. Had to pay them for 10 years.
Oh yeah. To have insurance is very important, but to have sufficient coverage is very important. And people, a lot of times I hear, they don't like to pay it because, they think that they'll never use it. But it gives you, insurance gives you the peace of mind that, is very needed in life. It lets you know if something happens, you never know.
Use it. Right.
Exactly.
That's the whole point.
Yeah. Like I'm doing a workshop after, I leave today, and, I'm so passionate about it. A lot of times people find it boring, but I'm like, hey guys, this is something you need to know. Especially if you have businesses, especially if you have things to lose. You need to have have adequate insurance coverage.
And you do have something to lose, and you want a
Right.
legacy. We got to take a break.
Okay.
But after that, I want to continue this conversation about being underinsured, and I'll
Great.
give you a little personal example. We'll be right back.
Awesome.
Healthcare.
Great
I don't
experiences.
understand.
It
You know what?
hits me every time. too.
What?
Really? You know what?
Philadelphia's
We need to
only
call,
5-star rated home care agency. Yes, you heard it right. Call
Marilyn Jewett to make sure that we can
215-603
find
now
out
to make the
Marilyn
change
Jewett?
and get the service you
Jewett.
and your loved one deserve. The 5-star rated service. Call
Having a good time.
215-624-603 and ask
Who's
for
our
Stan
next
to
guest.
schedule your appointment today. From beginning to
He's
end,
like
Deer Meadows
11:15,
wants to
so we got time
provide
to
their
find him.
5-star
And
service to
he's
you
on board.
and
It
your
just
loved one.
Marilyn.